Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. This one, to be fair, the topic is not a moan, it's more of an educational purpose. What I want to discuss is how to tactically vote. Those who watch my videos frequently will be perfectly aware that I've been advocating people should consider tactical voting at the upcoming Westminster election with the two aims. One, give the SNP as little seats as possible, and two, the knock-on effects that could have to actually bankrupting them should their short money and their ministerial levy be taken from them. Right now they get £1.2 million worth of short money and they get about 400 grand worth of ministerial levy. Obviously, if we halve their seats, that halves that amount of money. It's a direct correlation to the amount of seats they have. So we halve their seats, halves their money. So you could turn £1.6 million into 800,000, give them £800,000 less income next year. This is a business that's lost £800,000 last year and is only for £40,000 to £60,000 in the bank the last time I looked at a set of accounts. So, could be worthwhile tactically voting. Now, for a while, I've been considering, what does that look like? What's the easiest way to put this tactical voting across to people who want to consider it? And I've seen spreadsheets and other groups putting, data online. However, I've came across a very easy way to do it. Now, I am aware that I have a bit of following now on social media. I don't take that for granted, and I'm very humbled by that. I am also aware that that carries some responsibility. If I'm going to suggest something to somebody, I've got to be comfortable with it. Okay? So, let me tell you what happened yesterday. I got an email, like probably thousands of us, from Scotland and Union, an organisation with a name very similar to my aims, and it was telling me about their online website that they've created and launched yesterday morning, which is very, very simple. You go in, put your postcode in, and it tells you who to vote for if you want to tactically vote. So let me read out their launch of it and then explain a little bit more of what happened yesterday. So the email and the website now has a post on it which says, if your priority is to stop the SNP helping to move on, oh, sorry, I went too far in, started halfway down the page, tactical voting campaign launched for 2024 general election. We are thrilled to announce the launch of a tactical voting website for the upcoming UK general election. If your priority is to stop the SNP, help to remove I'm going to start this bit again. If your priority is to stop the SNP helping to move on from the nationalist, divisive agenda, simply enter your postcode on our tactical voting website for the most effective way to use your vote. In key constituencies, using your vote tactically will help to return representatives to the UK Parliament who will focus on the issues which matter most to people, not waste their efforts trying to break apart the union. A voting advice focuses on the party with the best chance of defeating the nationalists in each constituency. Our message is clear. Time is up for the SNP. Then they have a comment from Alistair Cameron, that's the chair of Scotland and Union. Polls are clear that nationalist obsession with breaking up the UK is not a priority for the people of Scotland, but the SNP will use every vote it receives to promote its negative vision of leaving the Union. If you want to send representatives to Parliament who will work constructively across the UK and not pursue narrow nationalist objectives, consider voting tactically using Scotland and Union's website as a guide. Voting for a party which is unlikely to win against the nationalists will ultimately help the SNP. Tactical voting is rational, positive choice in the key constituencies, returning politicians who will focus on people's priorities, not the SNPs. So that is the press release that they put out and they sent to anybody in their database yesterday. You then go onto the link to the website, which is tacticalvotescotland.uk. No .co in there at all. So that's tacticalvotescotland.uk. I'll put a link in the comments so anybody can just click on it. And on that, it's very, very simple. You enter your postcode, you don't put anything else in, they don't, know who you are, you're not putting your address in, and it will quite easily come up, bang, that's who you should vote for. Then it tells you recommendations for each seat are based on opinion polling research, past electoral history, demographic data, and specific local knowledge. Promoted by Scotland and Union, 272 Bath Street, Glasgow, G24GR. Okay, so it's dead simple. Now, what happened after receiving the email before I decided that I could recommend this and advocate this to people who have faith in me? I responded to their email and I said, look, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, but I wouldn't mind talking to somebody about how you collect your data and so forth. Sent an email, got a phone call, must have been 10-15 minutes later. Turns out the guy knows who I am, and actually I've had past dealings with him on a totally different thing about 10 years ago. So we had a good long chat. We were on the phone for almost an hour. It turns out he's a guy who is tasked with compiling the data, and he went through how they compile it and the process before they recommend who we should vote for. Now, in the vast majority of cases, bearing in mind, they are not telling you who's going to win, because that's a different thing. They're telling you who's got the best chance of beating and being in front of the SNP, right? So the vast majority of the cases, that's very, very easy, because where you've got a clear Labour or Conservative or Lib Dem in the polls and with all the data, then that's an easy, it's Tory, Labour or Lib Dem they put into their database. But where it became a wee bit more close is where you might have, let's say it's a Tory seat, comfortable Tory seat with a load of votes, and Tories and Labour polling about 20% each, for example. Then they used, went into a lot of demographic things and looked at some serious data before deciding who they should recommend in these seats. And likewise, where there's that would be who would be best to challenge SNP. But there are other seats where the SNP are way down here, and it's a very close Tory or Labour. I think there was one was maybe Tory Lib Dem. So he ran through a lot of the logical thinking behind these recommendations. And although there are other people recommending different ways of doing this, there are very, very few seats that are even close to being contentious. 95% probably of the seats, it doesn't matter what formula you use, you'll be recommending the same party. A very, very small amount, probably a handful, where it's actually contentious. So we can either A, ignore that and say, well, the other 95%, if we get them right, that's great. But ask them, where these close ones, are these figures concreted in? And the likelihood is they will be concreted in, but they will still monitor all the data that will come from polls and on the ground knowledge. And if they felt a week from now, a fortnight from now, they had to change some of the ones that are very, very close, then they would do so. I think that's quite logical. I think they've used a common sense approach, and thereby that's why after that quite long discussion and in-depth discussion, I'm quite happy to promote this for them. And I say that with a lot of, it's not an easy thing to do, because I am very, very aware, without, I'm not a local hero by any manner of means, but I do have a lot of audience who seem quite loyal to my views and opinions, and I'm humbled and shocked by that, but I also accept the responsibility that comes along with that. So I have been asked for weeks, how do you tactically vote, who should you vote for? And I'm saying, well, I'll get to that going forward. And my view was at one point I was going to do, like, take a region, for example, northeast of Scotland, and take 10 minutes worth to talk about that and where people should vote. But this is a far easier, I might still do videos like that going forward, who knows. But this is a much easier way for people to go in, click a button, put their postcode in, bang, there's the result. So I'm happy now to put my weight, for what it's worth, behind this website and these people who have compiled the information. So it's tacticalvotescotland.uk. Put the link in the comments and it'll take you 32 seconds to find out, using common sense and logic, polls, etc., previous results, a whole load of stuff, put into the mix, who's probably got the best chance of preventing the SNP getting a seat in your constituency. So again, I'm not going to tell folk how they should vote. I don't believe that's my job. I'm telling you what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Doesn't matter where I lived in Scotland, this is what I would be doing. If you want to do the same as me, then great, thank you. So spread this video all over the place, please. This is something that we need to get in front of as many people as possible. So if you enjoyed the video, please click the thumbs up and hit the share if you don't mind, if you're in group chats and stuff like that. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel. Most importantly of all, unless you're SNP or any other cult, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.